Well, ang panawagan natin, sundin natin ang batas para nang sa ganun hindi tayo magkaroon ng problema, otherwise baka kayo makasuhan.
The Department of Health warns pharmacies not giving VAT exemption on diabetes and hypertension drugs under the tax reform law.
Hindi ko alam, yung ulam pala dito malakas. Sa Legazpi hindi naman masyado eh. Dito pala yung ulam bumagsak. Kaya yun, kaya ako nang manatag lang.
Death toll in landslide hit Camarines Town reaches 30, while 16 others remain missing. And 51 garbage-filled containers dumped in the Philippines to be shipped back to South Korea starting next week. Good evening. The Department of Health warns pharmacies that are now giving exemption to some prescribed medicines under the tax reform law. Ray Pelayo tells us why.
Under the tax reform for acceleration and inclusion or TRAIN law, prescription medicines for diabetes, hypertension, and high cholesterol will be free of the 12% value-added tax. This means that pharmacies that will not give discounts to patients with the said conditions will violate the law and definitely face appropriate charges.
Ang panawagan natin, sundin natin ang batas para nang sa ganun hindi tayo magkaroon ng problema, otherwise baka kayo makasuhan.
Meanwhile, Finance Assistant Secretary Tony Lambino clarifies that discounts for the said medicines will not be limited to senior citizens and persons with disability only, but to all patients in need of the said medicines. Prior to this year, senior citizens and PWDs have been enjoying the VAT exemption in addition to the 20% discount they get when buying the said medicine. Lambino says the VAT exemption was expanded this year to cover patients below 60 years old.
Ito po ngayon na bago nating exemption ay para naman po sa lahat dahil noon po seniors at saka yung PWDs lang po ang VAT exempt.
Because of the measure, the government will lose 3.6 billion pesos in tax collection according to Lambino. Meanwhile, the Department of Finance is pushing for the Package 2 Plus of the Comprehensive Tax Reform Program to address the financial gap following the implementation of the Universal Healthcare Law.
Ang financing gap ay around 40 billion at gusto po nating kunin yan sa alcohol at saka tobacco.
The DOF reminds patients to secure an authorized prescription when purchasing the above-mentioned medicines to avail of the discounted price. Ray Pelayo, UNTV, News and Rescue, Quezon City.
A consumer group believes that prices of basic necessities and commodities in the market must be lower than its current price. Monokson will tell us why.
Prices of basic goods in the market are stable. Retailers as well as consumers said prices are low just like last year. In retail market in Tondo, Manila, the second day of 2019 is slack.
May stock ba silang pagkain? Yung mga binili nila nung ano?
Retailers said that suppliers have not yet advised them as to when prices will increase.
Ganun pa rin po, hindi naman nagbago presyo.
May nagtaas ba?
Hindi naman po.
Di mabuti.
Normal din po.
The price of sayote is only 30 pesos per kilo. Eggplant, garlic, and carrots are at 80 pesos per kilo. Cabbage, string beans, onions, tomatoes, and potatoes are priced at 60 pesos per kilo. Gingers can be bought at 70 pesos per kilo, while bottle gourds or upo cost 25 pesos per kilo. A tilapia is priced at 100 pesos per kilo, galunggong at 150, and milkfish at 100 pesos per piece and 200 pesos per kilo. A kilo of chicken can be bought at 150 pesos, while a kilo of pork costs 240 pesos per kilo. But the consumer group believes that prices of goods must be lower than the current price. Laban Consumer Group said that the farm gate price of vegetables have decreased due to the decline of pump prices.
Hindi lang dapat stable ang presyo ng pangunahing bilihin. Dapat ito mababa pa dahil ang farm gate price ng gulay, ang farm gate price ng manok at baboy ay mababa. Yung mababang presyo ng farm gate prices, hindi yan agad marireflect sa retail prices. Kaya dapat tutukan talaga ng monitoring at enforcement.
An economist said prices will be stable in the first few months of 2019, but we must not be complacent on the effect of the US-China trade war in the world economy.
So, may konting epekto yan sa paghina ng ekonomiya ng buong mundo, pero ang magandang balita, ang Pilipinas saka ang Asia, malakas pa rin ng ekonomiya natin.
Flores added that Filipinos will not be surprised on the implementation of the second tranche of the excise tax because the train law already started last 2018. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Qatar ends its nearly 60-year membership in the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, or OPEC, after its withdrawal from the cartel that took effect on Tuesday. Qatar's Minister of State for Energy Affairs, Saad bin Sherida Al-Kaabi, announced the withdrawal decision in December. OPEC has responded that they respected Qatar's decision. It is the first time that a Middle East nation has left the organization since its founding in 1960. Qatar produces some 600,000 barrels of crude oil a day, making it the 11th biggest producer in the 15-nation cartel. Since its oil output is not high, it will not affect the global oil prices if Qatar leaves the organization, according to Al-Kaabi. The death toll from landslides in Sangay, Camarines Sur that was triggered by Tropical Depression Oso has now reached 30. Meanwhile, Vice President Leni Robredo urges local authorities to relocate residents in Sangay to a safer ground. Robbie de Guzman tells us why.
Authorities rushed to landslide-hit areas in Sagnay, Camarines Sur as the weather began to clear on Wednesday. Rescue teams from the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the Metro Manila Development Authority arrived in the sitios of Ugot and Garang in Patitinan Village to help dig and recover bodies of victims after a landslide hit their homes. Disaster officials reported that the death toll in Sagnay landslides has climbed to 30, with 16 others still missing.
Kasi mayroon daw doon pinag-evacuatean ng mga victims sa chapel. So, ang balita is mula ngayon hindi pa nila napapasok 'yon. So, yun yung pagpunta namin sa area, yun ang isusurvey namin. Tapos yun ang magiging concentration siguro ng namin.
Sana sir, makuha natin. Pero gagawin naman namin lahat sir. Yung magagawa namin para mahanap natin lahat.
Melvin Gonzalez was among those who lost their loved ones to Sagnay landslides. Melvin recounted that on the rainy evening of December 29th, he and his family were eating supper when they suddenly heard a loud roaring sound. A portion of the ground nearby slipped and covered their home. Melvin, his wife, and 5 of their 8 children were able to escape unscathed, but the remaining 3 were buried alive.
Pagkiling ko, bigla na lang yung harong namin pumutok, tinulak na kami ng lupa.
Jose Erno meanwhile lost 8 children, while his wife and youngest child went missing when the landslide covered their home.
Hindi ko alam, yung ulam pala dito malakas. Sa Legazpi hindi naman masyado yun. Dito pala yung ulam bumagsak. Kaya ako nang manatag lang.
Sagnay officials said they advised residents to leave the area before Tropical Depression Oso hit the Bicol region. However, they admitted to not implementing a mandatory evacuation.
Just to inform them na it's delikado. Kasi actually, hindi namin ini-expect ito eh. Sino ba naman gusto nito mangyari, di ba? So, hindi kami nag-mandatory. Yun lang siguro ang pero they were warned.
Vice President Leni Robredo meanwhile urged local authorities to relocate residents in the landslide-prone area to safer grounds. Robredo visited the Patitinan village earlier to distribute aid to the victims.
Identify alin bang mga lugar yung hindi na talaga pwedeng patirhan at talagang pwersahin yung mga taong wag nang bumalik. Meron akong resettlement area sa Barangay Del Carmen. Ino-offer ko sa kanila. Pero alam mo naman ng mga tao, they don't want change. Parang ito, lang ito, yung nangyari lang, yung ganun. Pero hindi nila expect mangyayari ulit. But we are trying our best na talagang umalis sila dito.
A mass burial will be conducted on Thursday for the victims of the landslides in Sagnay. Robbie de Guzman, UNTV News and Rescue.
Tropical Depression Usman leaves 3 people dead and heavy damages to the agricultural sector after it hit Oriental Mindoro. Bernard Dadis tells us why.
3 people were killed and 8 others were injured during the onslaught of Tropical Depression Usman in Oriental Mindoro. Heavy rains brought by the storm also submerged 8 towns in the province, including Baco, Nauhan, Socorro, Pola, Pinamalayan, Bansud, Bungabong, and Calapan City, based on data from Oriental Mindoro's Public Information Office. A state of calamity has been declared in these areas.
Sila yung heavily affected nung mga baha-baha na iniwan ni Usman. Ngayon, dumami yung bayan na binabaha. Usually kasi Nauhan at Baco lang, tapos ito ang Bukayaw sa Calapan City. Pero ngayon, biglang dumami. So siguro, isa na rin sa consider nila ngayon ay silted ang mga ilog.
Local authorities report that Usman also damaged crops and other agricultural produce amounting to more than 112 million pesos. The provincial government now plans to hold a summit to discuss projects to be implemented, such as dredging rivers and waterways to prevent heavy flooding. Bernard Dadis, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The number of fatalities from Tropical Depression Usman has hit 80, according to the latest report from the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council. Meanwhile, 40 persons were still reported injured while 20 individuals remain missing. However, the NDRRMC is on the process of verifying the figures from authorities on the ground. The Philippines is set to ship back to South Korea this month some 6,500 tons of mixed waste that were dumped in the country last year. Grace Casin tells us why.
All 51 garbage-filled containers currently stranded in Tagoloan, Misamis Oriental will be shipped back to their origin in Pyeongtaek City in South Korea on January 9. Eileen Lucero, the national coordinator of the Eco-Waste Coalition, says the South Korean government has agreed to take back the 6,500 metric tons of mixed waste materials shipped to the Philippines in July and October last year.
Sinisimulan na yung pagre-repack ng mga nakakalat na basura sa Barangay Santa Cruz. At ito ay meron sinasabi nila na 1 buwan lamang yung binibigay ng provincial government at para ma-transfer. Para pagkatapos ng shipment ng first 51 containers, isusunod na yung nakakalat na nasa Barangay Santa Cruz.
According to Mindanao International Container Terminal Port Collector John Simon, investigation by South Korean authorities revealed that the shipper Green Soko Company falsified the needed documents to allow the entry of the illegal shipment. The shipper also did not pay necessary taxes and duties, which violated Philippine regulations.
Yung pong Green Soko ay missing in action, bigla siyang nawala, no? At they are being investigated now by the Interpol kung anong grupo itong gumagawa ng nagpapadala ng basura sa iba't ibang bansa.
The shipment's consignee Verde Soco Philippines Industrial Corporation is also being investigated. The MICT says that if not for the interception of the 51 containers, the Philippines would have received another 81 containers of trash from the same shipper and consignee. Meanwhile, the garbage shipment from Canada still remains on Philippine soil since their arrival on 2013. The Department of Environment and Natural Resources has already created a technical working group who will review the possibilities of returning the shipment to its source country.
So sana yung Canada, mahiya din kayo. Kunin nyo na po yung basura ninyo dito sa Pilipinas at ibalik na natin. At sabi nga, return to sender dito sa mga taga-Canada yung kanilang mga basura.
Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Up next on Y News. 2 witnesses to the murder of Ako Bicol Representative Rodel Batocabe now under police custody. Senator Panfilo Lacson insists that policemen involved in the indiscriminate firing must be sacked. And singing hopefuls Rhea Basco and Alia Candelinia secure spots in Camp Junji Marcelo's top 4 in the Wishcovery Season 2, The Singer and the Song. Thank you for keeping me company in the first part of Wine News. More reasons behind the stories with Angelo Castro III and Thio after this quick break. I'm Rheena Villamor-Camara. Good evening.
Welcome back to Wine News. We pick up from where Rheena Villamor-Camara left off. I'm Angelo Castro III, and here are the headlines. Number of fireworks-related injuries rises to 236 after New Year's Day. The United Kingdom issues travel warnings for Mindanao after Cotabato's city blast. And 2 witnesses to the killing of Ako Bicol Representative Rodel Batocabe is now in police custody. Additional cases of injury due to the use of fireworks were reported after New Year's Day, bringing the total number to more than 200. But the Department of Health says this is still lower than the number of injuries reported in the same period last year. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
The number of firework-related injuries rose to 236 today after nearly 100 new cases were recorded after New Year's Day, according to the Department of Health. Latest reports showed that from December 21, 2018 to January 2, 2019, at least 180 people suffered burn injuries due to firecrackers, 8 needed amputation, 61 sustained eye injuries, while 2 others ingested fireworks. But when compared to the reported 492 cases in the same period last year, DOH says the current tally is still lower by 52%.
Meron pa rin tayong 8 naputulan ng daliri, saka meron 61 na tinamaan sa mata. Gusto pa rin natin bumaba talaga ito.
Based on DOH record, Metro Manila tops the regions with the highest number of firecracker-related injuries, followed by Ilocos Region and Western Visayas. Meanwhile, Skyrockets or Quiddies tops the list of injury-causing firecrackers.
Meron pa rin tayong Piccolo, yung Boga, at saka yung mga luces at saka 5-star. Yan ang pinaka-common pa rin na naging sanhi ng mga injuries natin this year.
Health Secretary Francisco Duque III previously emphasized the strict implementation of firecracker zones because most firecracker-related injuries happen in streets or at home.
So, masaya tayo, relatively speaking, mababa, pero mas masaya kung zero casualty. So, palagi ko darating din ng panahon, zero casualty tayo. Meron tayong hinahabol na modelo. Ito yung Davao City.
Duque noted that most of the victims were high in alcohol. Some were hurt while smoking cigarettes that sparked the firecracker. Aside from firecracker ban, the DOH also encourages the public to do away from vices, particularly drinking alcohol.
Yung manginginom, kung pwede, itigil nyo na rin yan. Dati, may sinasabi, safe amount of drinking alcohol. Wala nang safe amount. Kahit na small amount, ay meron din banta sa ating kalusugan. Kaya itigil na natin yung mga...
Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Senator Panfilo Lacson insists that the policemen involved in indiscriminate firing this holiday season must be dismissed from service. Lacson called on Albayalde to eliminate rogue cops from the organization in no time. Lacson also said that the Philippine National Police must continue its internal cleansing because Scalawag cops have no right to stay in service even for a minute. A group of environmentalists are calling on the public to stop using disposable items in line with the commemoration of the Zero Waste Month. Eileen Cerudo will tell us why.
The celebration for the New Year is over, but heaps of trash are still found in streets and estuaries. According to United Nations or UN Environment, garbage thrown into estuaries or rivers goes to the ocean, which mainly causes water pollution. It also said half of the plastic waste in the world that are piling up in the ocean only came from 5 countries, the Philippines included. Plastics are non-biodegradable wastes that do not decompose. Once they disintegrate, they can turn into microplastics, which are harmful to the environment and even a person's health. The Eco-Waste Coalition were dismayed over the piles of trash they found when they recently made rounds in Metro Manila. They said this is a result of negligence of the citizens in caring for the environment.
Simula doon sa mga disposable na utensils po natin, mga tirang pagkain hanggang doon sa mga gift wrappers, no? Ito yung mga nakikita po natin na problema talaga natin tuwing may okasyon.
They added that it might take days before the trash can be fully disposed from the streets. Meanwhile, according to a 2018 report of Metropolitan Manila Development Authority or MMDA, 56,000 cubic meters of waste are collected in the National Capital Region or NCR every day, and 32% or a third are non-biodegradable. If someone will put 56,000 cubic meters of trash in a 1.5-liter soft drink, it will take 4 million bottles to fill up. And it is higher than the 54,000 cubic meters recorded in 2017. Eco-Waste Coalition calls on the citizens to stop using disposable items, especially when January is celebrated as Zero Waste Month.
Ay dapat magbago na ng wasteful behavior, no? Samantalahin po natin ang pagkakataon na ang kalikasan ay nandiyan pa at wag po nating sayangin yung pagkakataon na baka sa huli ay tayo rin po magsisi.
Eileen Sarudo, UNTV, News and Rescue.
The United Domestic Workers of the Philippines fears the possible impact of President Rodrigo Duterte's controversial statement about his maid to domestic workers abroad. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
President Rodrigo Duterte draws criticisms anew after the statements he made on December 29 when he told about the abuses of a priest against him, relating it to the things he allegedly did with their maid when he was still young. Malacanang explained the president made a laughable anecdote and purposely added and spliced the story with vulgarity to characterize the behavior of the priest who insisted to hear more sins during their confessions when there were none. The president made the statement way back November 2015 when he was proclaimed the standard bearer of PDP Laban for the May 2016 national elections. The president of the United Domestic Workers of the Philippines, Novelita Palisok, is angry and concerned at this. She said the president is sending a wrong message and might bring worse abuses against domestic workers abroad, especially those who are in the Middle East. The president, she said, has also not changed his treatment of women since he was young until now that he is already old.
Yung parang degraded na po talaga yung mga kababaihan dahil po sa pinaggagawa niya. So ngayon, parang nanganganib na po yung mga kasambahay po dito sa Pilipinas po at saka sa ibang bansa po na yung parang ang tingin din po siguro po ng ibang mga halimbawa po yung mga taga-ibang bansa po, lalo na po sa Middle East, na okay lang na ganunin din yung mga kasambahay po nilang mga Pilipina doon. Kasi ang presidente rin po ay hindi rin po gumagalang sa mga kasambahay po sa buong mundo.
The Kasambahay Law aims to upgrade the perception of the public on domestic helpers and recognize them as an important sector of the society. However, every woman PH says because of the statement of the chief executive, the abuses against household workers will escalate. The president also drew flack on social media. Some netizens said the president is rude and his statements, whether true or not, are not funny anymore. Although there is no legal basis for the president to be impeached because of his controversial statements, law expert attorney George Erwin Garcia said the chief executive must speak and act according to the Code of Ethics for government officials as stated in the Constitution.
National figure siya, pinakamataas na opisyal ng ating pamahalaan, tinitingnan lahat ng sasabihin niya ngayon ay may impact hindi lamang sa lokal kundi national, pang-international pa nga eh. Kapag ginagawa ng Pangulo natin yung ganyan, sino ay na makakapigil sa ibang opisyal ng pamahalaan na mas mababa sa kanya yung magsalita rin ng mga katulad ng binabanggit niya.
Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The United Kingdom's Foreign and Commonwealth Office has advised British citizens against all travels to Mindanao following the bomb attack in Cotabato City on Monday. The travel advisory covers all travels to western and central Mindanao as well as the Sulu archipelago, citing terrorist activity and clashes between the military and insurgent groups. The FCO cited the December 26, 2018 public notice issued by the United States Transport Security Administration, which highlighted poor aviation security at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport, or NAIA. The advisory stressed that terrorists are very likely to try to carry out attacks in the Philippines, including in Manila, and these attacks can be carried out at any time and anywhere in the country, including in places visited by foreigners like airports, shopping malls, public transport, including the metro system, and places of worship. Thus, the UK government advises its citizens to remain vigilant at all times and report anything suspicious to local authorities. Police take custody of 2 suspects who were turned into witnesses in the murder of Congressman Rodel Batucabe. Lea Ilagan tells us why.
2 suspects in the killing of Ako Bicol Party List Representative Rodel Batucabe have surrendered and are now under the custody of the Philippine National Police. The 2 suspects were turned into witnesses for the information they know about the crime, and according to PNP spokesperson, Police Chief Superintendent Benigno Durana Jr., they are now being investigated.
In-interview sila ngayon at let's see if out of these witnesses we can get suspects out of these witnesses. So yan po, ongoing yung investigation.
Durana says the testimony of the witnesses will help the authorities identify the rest of the suspects and hopefully the mastermind behind the crime.
Their testimonies can shed light into the case, and that it may or may not give us a positive lead that will lead us to the perpetrators, including the mastermind.
A source told UNTV that the 2 suspects turned witnesses were former soldiers. One of them was involved in the planning of Batucabe's assassination, while the other one was responsible for scouting potential gunmen. According to the source, the 2 witnesses identified an Albay politician as the mastermind in the crime and the one who provided cash and motorcycles as getaway vehicles for the suspects. They added that the politician's personal driver was among those who helped the gunman escape. The 2 witnesses also revealed that said politician mastermind offered 3 million pesos to the suspect to execute the killing of Congressman Batucabe. Until now, they said the mastermind has not yet paid them. The 2 suspects turned witnesses surrendered as they wanted the 50 million pesos reward money. Their decision was also out of fear for their safety. The PNP and the Batucabe family, meanwhile, are set to file formal charges of double murder and multiple frustrated murder against the remaining 6 to 8 suspects linked to the assassination of Representative Batucabe. Lea Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue, Camp Crame.